Let's take this for example. You start as you let's say you're running, or hunting animals or spending time with your family or exploring adventures in the desert. While you were doing those type of stuff, you then spotted something. You spotted a lot of people laying down dead. You found spotted like a six truck, and there's an injured dog right there. And while you're exploring, you're just investigating, and then you found a money case. And this money case have a lot of dollar to have $1 million. And somehow there's someone want that money. They want that money back from you. And this man will kill you. So your plan is to keep your family as safe as possible. And you need to survive from that man. But that's not the only dangerous encounter. You will face like a dangerous group people or some other dangerous stuff that you will encounter in a country. This is the world of No Country for Old Men. So I finished this book a days ago. So I finished it. I got this book from the library. So tomorrow I'm going to return it. So I'm just making this video before I I return it tomorrow. So you're asking me what is this book is about, and why should you guys read it? So let me explain you some each character and what is the difference between the movie and the book. Let's start with I'm gonna say the Goody character and teacher Kurt, and uh and the character name I think his name was like uh I think his name was like Bob or something like that. Yeah, I think that's his name. I don't know. I forgot. So let's start with our first character, Mose. Mose is your main character. Somehow, in his introduction, he was hunting for animal, but then somehow he spotted like there's like a six truck, I think, and he investigating, and then he found a money case. So in the movie, I noticed that he was like, you have a wife named Jenin or something like that, I think. Well, Moses, like, I think that's his last name, I think. And his first name is like Llewellyn, but I just call him Mose because that's like easy for me to say his name. So yeah. So in his story, it's pretty interesting when I was just checking it. In the movie, it's nice, he's a flawed character. He's not perfect, he's an anti-hero. And somehow he trying to survive, from this hitman named Enter Shakur. Throughout the story, he faces like dangerous stuff, like while he trying like get that money case, I think, and then somehow um there was some there was a truck chasing him down. But in a book, he was getting chased a lot, but they didn't send like a dog, to kill him or something like that. But yeah, he was able to escape. So when I was just reading it, it was pretty interesting, and it's like he's like he struggle like throughout the story, and there's like yeah, she was like trying to survive for Enter Sugar, that intense scene of him getting chased at the hotel or something like that. But in this scene he turned on a shower to distract him. He's like, come out, like he telling him to come out, and then Enter Sugar come out, and then describe it how he looked like he had blue eyes or something like that. So it was pretty interesting with Mose, in this story right here. But he was getting chased down by Antichir, but he was able to survive. But somehow he got injured, some crazy stuff, and then he was able to get help throughout the story and the book, and the movie. So he went to the hotel, another hotel. I mean, a motel. I mean, the scenes, Antichir breaking the door, but yeah, but he was able to get a money case back before he breaking the door in the book, but in the movie it's different. He was struggling to get the money case back, and he was able to get it. And somehow, when you go to another, so when he's like recovering, the people, the this police or something like that, were telling him like, oh, what happened or something like that, So yeah, and yeah, and somehow he was like driving or something like that, and then he found this he found this lady, a hitchhikers. I think that's what you call it because those are the people who do this, something like that. So most help her, Somehow we don't know her real name, but she was just like trying to go to California or something like that. And then he was, this was a nice one. I like this part. It was I like him and the hitchhikers so were having a conversation, each other, and yeah, and I like it. I like their dialogues. It was nice to see them. It was nice. Well, it was nice reading it. Most was being nice to her. Giving her money and you know just talking to her. He was helping her, and somehow she was just nice lady. She was just a normal lady. But sadly, that did not last forever. Apparently, both of them got shot. I think it was like the same people who was chasing down Mose in the, when he like got out from the house or something like that. So yeah, but Mose is like the another well written character. He's a exceptional character who is well written. I like it. When I was reading it, I like Mose. He's like a cool man. He's a floss character. He struggle, he have fear, well, I think, but he do have some fear, when you're trying to go against with Anti-Shakur. They did call Anti-Shakur, after this man died. So we'll get that later. Janin, his wife, throughout the story, she was like, he was spending time with his mother because most tell her to go to his mom house, even though her mom is like going to die, because she have cancer. Throughout the story, she was just spending time with her family, and then after she find out her husband got killed, I mean, her house is different, she live in a small house that have no stairs, but in the book, they do have a stair, so yeah, it's like she went upstairs, and then someone entered. Girl was sitting there, in a chair. Um, so what happened and during the scene, somehow they were having that same thing, of the conservation in the movie, I think. And then he told her to do a coin, to call it, for the coin. He like call it. So she said like heads, I think, and then somehow she like got it wrong. It was tails, and then before something happened, before something happened, is that like he was just telling her, like this and that, and then later, Antichkur shot her, and boom, just like that, she was dead. He Antichkur just killed her. Yeah, I mean, she was another nice writing. I mean, there was a lot of characters I could mention. They're way different. But I feel like they're not really that important because Jenny is kind of important to me. I don't know I should mention it, but okay. I think this could be interesting, for you guys to know about Most wife, Jenin or something like that. All right, let's get back to this character. I forgot his name. Wells. Isn't that his name, Wells or uh, um, I think his name was like. Wait, hold up. I forgot his name. Was it Well or something like that? I just sworn it. I think it was um uh Bell. Oh, it was Bell. Yeah, it was Bell. Yeah, now I remember. Let's talk about Bell. I like Bell. This is an interesting one. I don't know why they had to cut this a lot from Bell. And this in the movie, in his introduction, he explained, like a 14 years old. Yeah, this what happened in the book. He was talking about like there was this man gonna get executed, for killing a 14 years old, but he was dating her, something like that. But yeah, but in a book, yeah, it's this same thing with introduction. But every chapter I start with, he will always talk about his backstory. It's interesting, When I was reading it, it was nice to know about him. He was like a veteran man. I think he was in a Vietnam War or something like that. But he was like a coward because he didn't want to die and he left his friends or, you know, like during the war and then they just got killed. But he got a medal, but he don't feel like it. He wasn't happy about that because he just felt like he betrayed his men. He felt guilty for doing that, for leaving them dead. So it was like, kind of tragic for him, that he was a veteran guy and then somehow he freaking let them die. And I'm like, damn, that's just sad. He just, and I could tell he's a flawed character, he's scared, he didn't want it to die. There's other stuff that while there, him is other of people, he was working with them, like Well and Talbert. Talbert didn't appear in the movie, but I feel like he wasn't really that important to me. And they were a DIA or something like that, like the drug investigator. So they checked that truck thing, that surrounding. They were investigating, and there was like helicopter. They were describing, and there's this character I forgot his name, but he's not really that important to me. But he was just a investigator. So he would have a writing cardboard, his yeah. He was just they were describing that he always do like this, like something like that, like like a cardboard that's he was doing like this, and then story that's what it was describing. But he wasn't really that important to me at all. But yeah, it was interesting that they're showing the scenes, like while they're investigating. Yes, they investigate the hotel, the scene of Antiker chasing down the main most. Yeah, they investigate that place, but there's a second floor that there was a lady got shot, during the shooting. So yeah, it was interesting, So he was trying to investigate what is happening, and yes, remember the ending. Yeah, this is kind of, I think this is an infamous or famous ending of No Country for Old Men movie. Talk about his, a natural dialogues. Which I like it of the ending. It's just like he's talking about his life and other stuff. But in this book, it's way different. This is not how it ends. This is somehow this ending is way different for the movie, and I think this one is better in the book. Well, they did show it, but he was at his friend's house, talking, and somehow I get it. Carmen McCarthy, he's sometimes we like, the writing show the don't tell, but sometimes he just do it show and tell. So somehow he did describe, like Bell did describe about his life, what he was doing in a war and something like that. So it was a pretty long dialogues, but that's okay because I need to know about him. So it's, people think tell could be weak, but we need to know. We need to know what is happening with them. So yeah, I like it. When I was reading it, I really liked his backstory when he was just describing it. And yeah, throughout the story, the cart scene, when Antishker got crashed, yeah. So when he got crashed, I get to the scene with those two kids, but there was more scenes about them. In a book, some Bell, he was investigating the car crash, what happened. So he asked those two kids, where's this man right now, So he talked both of them. So but someone they're like, oh, we did saw him, but we don't know where he's now. There is nothing he can do. And did Jakura escape? It's hard to find him. So what Bell do next is that well, he retired. He wanted to spend time with his wife. So it was nice, he spent he like like riding a horse, with his wife or something like that. And then somehow in the ending, he went to his truck and then he started the engine and then it just started dropping away. So like because he retired, he don't know. There's nothing he can do to find and to trigger. And yeah, but this one, the last one, this last page, I really like one. I really like this one right here. When he was talking about his father, how he teach him or something like that, it was nice. I really like it. There's one line I really loved it right here. And in the dream, I knew that he was going on the head and that he was fixing to make a fire somewhere out there and all that dark and all that cold. And I knew that whenever I got there, he would be there. And then I woke up. And then I woke up. That one line is like so good, It was so good with to end it like that. It's like every time he feels something that his father is like just telling him that to like every time you dream and his father was always be there or something like that, and then he always woke up or something like that, whenever he's like telling him, well, whenever he's doing something, to do something. So I really like this final sentence. It was interesting. I really enjoy Bell backstory. I really love it. He's like another well written character, like a side character. I feel like he was a second main character, but yeah, I feel like he's better than most, for my opinion. So yeah, but I know he's not better than Antichker. So yeah, yeah, I really enjoy with Bell backstory, and it was interesting reading throughout the story of his journey. Now let's get to Antichker. I think this one is interesting. All right, in his introduction, he got arrested, and he went to jail, but he killed the man, He was like that infamous, that famous creepy face that like while he's smiling or something like that. Yeah, and then that same thing, he killed someone, but yeah, throughout the story, it was pretty interesting. His journey. Somehow his motivation is to get the money case, because most have it. So he went to most house, but he found nothing. Asked the lady, where is she? Where is he? Or something like that. But the lady then refused to not tell him, what job he go. But yeah, but he was a pretty smart guy. He's pretty terrifying and emotionless. He don't have development, but that's okay. That's how Carmen McCarthy do. Man, this man never changed, and he just want to keep it as consent. Yeah, throughout the story, his journey, his story was interesting, and somehow he's like, trying to find most, but yeah, he did went to the motel and then somehow. Oh wait, oh yeah, don't forget this scene. Remember the scene when he killed this two man right here? Was someone? This one is different. He didn't. This people they're not given a device on that. And then he just killed this one man, and then he just tell him like where is he or something like that. And then someone he go there, and then went to the motel, and then someone he break into this, you know, this motel room, and then he freaking kill all of them. That scene, when you break in, and then boom, just like that, like. Another one is I think another thing is when he was like another part of like I try to remember what we was doing in the story. Uh, I just sworn he was like, oh yeah, there was a scenes of like I'm trying to remember what was he doing. Uh, oh yeah, he went to another like a motel or something like that, But yeah, the scene when he blew up the car. Yeah. Oh wait, I'm skipping. I don't know what the heck am I doing, but so I'm trying to understand you guys, but I can't. I don't know why. So, and another thing is that like, the chili scene. Yeah, that same. Yeah, it's the same thing. When that the coin toss, it was a creepy one. his lines are pretty like something else. So I remember there's one part right here. I just saw he was in a like a a dining restaurant, and then he was just like drinking a coffee, and then until he saw a share of people. So when he saw them, he just got up and then put the money in the table because he don't probably they're like looking for him, so he's worried. And then the scene, when Moses distracted him. Yeah, this one is way different. Right here. Yeah, so apparently there was a cartel, or something like that. They were like trying. Probably there are the people who trying to find most, but until Andrew Carey was able to kill all of them. So yeah, but he was injured, because of shot. Yeah, he did do surgery. That one scene. Yeah. But yeah, Anthony Curry is literally unstoppable. He's like no matter what, if you injure him, he's going to figure out how to fix himself, and he will never stop like finding you or something like that. He's pretty terrifying. Not gonna lie. Yeah, when I was reading, I'm like, this guy is unstoppable. He cannot be stopped. Oh yeah, by the way, he break into Jennin's house, I think, So you break into her house and then you open her fridge, you drink like a soda, something like that, or orange soda. That's what it's saying. And then while he went upstairs, and you know, j- and there's her room or something like that, and then he just lay down in bed and while he's holding a shotgun and he was like sleeping, and then in the morning he woke up, ate some like food, and then until he found a mail. So this could be a chance that he could find most, where he's at or where his wife is at. So he put on the table to investigate it. I'm like, why didn't they put that scene right there? Why didn't they put that? It was interesting, because he break in her house, he trying to figure out where's Moses at. So yeah. Oh yeah, another one is yeah, the scene, the conversation of between Antikur and that other guy who wear like a cowboy hat or something like that. Yeah, this one was interesting. When both of them were talking to each other, this was like a scary line, that he's like, you know, like this guy telling you go to hell or something like that. But this is a crazy death scene because in the movie he's shot in his chest, but someone he did this, he raised his hand and then do like this, and then boom, blows to shot to his face, and just like that. And he went to his car until he got a phone call from his phone, and then he picked up and he's like, "Hello." And then no matter what, if you like go to the airport or go somewhere like another country or something like that, Antichakur will still track you down. He will track you down, no matter what. He's literally unstoppable. He's literally like, yeah, I know where you live, or something like that. I know, like, no matter what, if you're trying to escape from me, I'm still gonna stop you. I'm like, okay, okay. Well, I'm cooked. Like me, I'm dead. I'm dead. So no matter what, if I go to Japan, he's still gonna go to Japan and know where I'm at. So yeah, no matter what, he's still gonna track me down and kill me. Oh yeah, the scene, when he went to the office, yeah, he took off his shoes, and then somehow he killed the man. But this one, there wasn't two people. There was only one person, which is a boss right here. He shot him to the neck and he telling like, "Oh, you sent this person to kill me, huh?" Okay. But he was struggling to talk because he was like bleeding. He was like, "Oh, oh, oh." So he let him to die. So yeah, it was yeah. This one was like a different scenes. So if you watch the movie, you're wondering what happened. When you went to the motel after Mose and the hitchhikers die. Well, I know the hitchhikers was in the movie, but yeah. So after that, he went to the most you know room, where he was at. So apparently he was able to find a money case and he was able to escape. And you probably like watch the movie. He's like, oh, he just want the money case back, right? He just keep it like that. Yeah, I know. That's yeah. I think that's his motivation. But in the book, the real Entertaker, he want that money case to give this person right here that he trying to get. So he went to his office, and then he was like scared because it was Entertaker himself. He's like, I got the money case back. So he gave it to him, and yeah, a lot of the money it was like kind of destroyed or like completely gone. So yeah. So his yeah in a movie, he just wanted money case back. But in a book, he trying to give it to someone. So someone want that money case back. And yeah, he was able to do it. And yeah. I was like, oh, okay, that's different. I see this scenes in the movie, but yeah, he gave it to him, and then he just left. So yeah. Oh yeah. As for his conclusion, when I always talk about Janet, when she got shot. So in this conclusion, he got crashed. Uh, and then yeah, he has those two kids. He give them money. And then someone he just walk away. But until this one is different. And the movie, he just walk away, and then we move to Bell, scene when he was talking about his life. But in this book right here, those two kids, they check on his car and they found a pistol and they took it, you know, ended up, and Bell wanted to ask him, like, oh, where's that pistol, or something like that, something happened or something like that. So yeah, uh, in the end, Enter escape. He didn't die or anything. He escaped. So the villain won. Bell was defeated. He didn't die, but he just spent his life. With his wife. Mose, the main character of the story, died, and Andrew Kurd just was unstoppable. He cannot be caught or anything, so he escaped. So yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it, everyone. So, did I recommend you to watch the movie or read the book? Which one is better? I prefer the book. The book is like better. It have more detail, more and care that never make it to the story, or more depth. About Bell and Anti Jakur and Mose. And some other stuff that were good. With the scenes. I really enjoyed this book. I cannot stop reading it. I was like, damn, this book really hooked me, didn't it? Because the introduction, was talking about like it's talking about like showing Bell talking about his life, and then I didn't know they were going to continue talk about he's going to continue talk about his life. So yeah, yeah, I really enjoy reading at No Country for Old Men. So yeah, so I recommend you guys to read it. It's an interesting book. So yeah. My next book to read, I'm currently reading the Power of Now. My dad gave it this to me. It's all about anxiety, depression, and consciousness, unconscious, and past and the future. But I'm not gonna make a video about this because it's not even part of my book list. But after I read it, I'm gonna read Project Hail Mary because I need to read the book before I watch the movie. What the heck happened here? Huh. So yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to return this book to the library, and yeah, I enjoyed this book. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Goodbye. And first video of 2026. So happy new year. Alright, bye.